All right, let's start off. Comfortable seat and just start to notice your breath. There are the different styles of learning. Some people are auditory, some people are visual, and some people are kinesthetic. And so when you're focusing on your breath, are you focusing on the sound of your breath? Or are you focusing on the feeling of your breath? If it's the sound, you're allowing the sound to become monotonous. You're giving the monkey a banana. If you're focusing on the feeling of your breath, you're focusing on allowing that to just become a monotonous banana to the monkey. If you are a more visual person, maybe you just start to see your breath moving up your spine as you breathe in and down your spine as you breathe out. But you're just creating a smooth rhythm of breathing. And as you're noticing your breath, maybe there is something that your breath would like, an adjustment to invite more breath into your body or to create a smoother rhythm of breath, whatever adjustment that is. And as you breathe in, allow your attention, your awareness to start to like slip out of your body a little. Maybe you see yourself sitting from above and you start to zoom out a little. You see the room that you're in. And on your next breath in, you zoom out, you see the building that you're in from above. And as you continue to move up and away and zoom out, that building becomes smaller and you start to see other buildings around you. You start to see the roads of the neighborhood or the town. You start to see different features of the land. There's hills or valleys and trees and rivers, and you just keep zooming out and you see this bigger picture of the world around you. Maybe those rivers, you follow them and they start to run towards the sea, and now you're seeing the coastline, and you just keep zooming out and zooming out. And the ocean gets bigger, and maybe you start to see the outlines of other continents, and you keep zooming back out. And where you were is just this tiny little dot by now. And you're zooming out and zooming out. The clouds start to cross the continents and the ocean, and you start to see the atmosphere of the earth as you just keep zooming out. And then earth is this glowing ball hung against the darkness of space. You zoom out and you zoom out. And there's stars, and maybe there's the moon. And you zoom out towards the sun, and you look back at our planet just bathed in this golden sunlight. It rotates and it moves. And maybe your attention starts to merge with that sunlight, becoming warm and becoming bright. and you're just shining on the earth. And you notice your breath, maybe it's starting to become a little longer. We're not in a rush to breathe in or breathe out. We're not forcing, just observing the smooth rhythm of breath as you sit here by the sun shining onto the earth. And then imagining you have become the sun, you are this light, you start to race back to the planet. You're just this golden beam. You're just racing back towards Earth, and it's getting larger. And you see the continents and you see the curve, and you're racing down and you hit this patch of dirt and you warm it and you brighten it. And maybe there was a seed there and it starts to awaken and it starts to wiggle and it shoots a root down into the earth. And those roots go down and they search for water and they search for minerals and they pull those up into them. And then there's a shoot and there's leaves. And those leaves take in the air and they take in the light. And this combination of light and minerals and water, we start to create sugars and carbohydrates. And this little tiny plant has become the sun and the earth. And then you imagine that those carbohydrates, they're a potato or they're a carrot, and it gets eaten maybe by a person, and that person now has become the earth and the sun. And we think about how our bodies are built this way, just carbohydrate by carbohydrate. We eat the land, we eat the sun, we become them, we belong to them now. And in the same way, we belong to the breeze. We watched our planet spin in space, and there's a breeze. There's these currents of air that cross this planet. For billions of years, these same currents have crossed the Earth, and they take sand from the Sahara and they drop it off at the Amazon, and these nutrients just flying around the planet, and they settle in places, and we breathe things in and we breathe things out. Everything that has ever lived has breathed this same air, just cycling over and over. Everything that has ever lived has breathed in this air. And in the same way that we belong to the earth and we belong to the air, we belong to the water. An ocean wave becomes a mist, becomes a cloud, becomes rain. becomes a river, becomes a lake, becomes a well, and we drink that in. We sweat it out, we cry it out, we bleed it out, we breathe it out. And this sun and this earth and this wind and this rain that make our body, that surround our bodies. It makes our bodies, it makes the bodies of all of the plants, of all of the animals. We all belong to each other in this way. We're all made of the same things. We have the same needs. And the rain falls equally on the blessed and on the damned. We all belong here. When we loosen our ideas of good and bad, when we loosen our judgments, we realize how we all belong here. We're all made of the same things. We're subject to the same forces. And check in with your breathing. And just notice, without judging, how your breath is right now. You can make any change that you'd like. And allow your attention to come back to the sensations of your breath, just feeling your body expand and relax. You can start to open your eyes and look at the room around you and pat the edges of yourself and come back to yourself. Say your name to yourself. And remember where you are. And then go out into the world, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.